Greetings, Tatsu Warriors! Here today with another deck profile, Wyvern Waves, aka the Draconian. Now, the Draconian is a mix of Wyverns and Dragons, so I'm gonna actually specify it is the Wyverns, but they are Draconian Warrior class as the generic overall of the Warrior class. I want to dive right into the deck. We're running 18 Warriors in this build. Starting with one copy of Savage Wyvern number 3. You must cast off 2 from hand to call. So you have to discard 2 cards to call this warrior, whether it's a normal call or e-call. So keep that in mind. But once per turn, this warrior may attack a warrior for 8 damage, area projectile unchainable. If this warrior attacks, it cannot attack the following turn. One copy of him. 2 copies of Savage Wyvern number 2. You must cast off 1 from hand to call. Once per turn, this warrior may attack a warrior for 6 damage, air projectile unchainable. If this warrior attacks, it can attack the following turn. 2 copies of him. 4 copies of Savage Wyvern number 1. Once per turn, this warrior may attack a warrior for 4 damage, air projectile unchainable. If this warrior attacks, it can attack the following turn. 4 copies of him. 2 copies of, so that's all our fire Draconians or Wyverns. 2 copies of Wyvern Sage. In place of your normal call, you return this warrior to your hand. If you do, cast off 2, then e-call up to 2 Wyvern warriors from your deck. This card, they cannot attack the turn and may only e-call Draconian warrior class. Night Searcher. Ability. When the Draconian warrior class is targeted, you may cast off this card from hand to negate the activation restricted. Super good card. Cave Wyvern. When the Draconian warrior class or element earth type warrior is targeted or attacked, you may e-call this warrior from your dead zone and change the attack target to this warrior restricted. So you can use that once per turn. Super dope. 9 life, 1 body count. Really good shield. And there's our main searcher in the deck, Susu Sukaizen, 4 copies of her. Fire Lantern. When this warrior is normal call, you may orbit an element fire type card from your deck. If you do, add it to your hand or interface and destroy this card. 4 copies of her. 2 copies of Furlet the Fiery Panda. When the effect or ability is activated that includes any of these, add a card from deck to hand, e-card from deck, send a card from deck to dead zone. You may cast up this card from hand to negate that card, restricted. Very good hand trap. And then our boss monster, or warrior, Tanoya Kijikami. To call him, this warrior class can be called during your play phase by orbiting 5 element fire or lava type card from your dead zone. So we got that to spin. His effect is Inferno Resonant Chaizen. All warriors you control get +1 damage when attacking. And if the warrior class is armed, they'll burn. When this warrior attacks, cards cannot be activated in Legend Zone until the end phase. Ability, Sheath Slice. Once per turn, this warrior may attack a target for 4 damage, area strike unchainable. This warrior's Sheath Slice cannot be Kaishu or evaded. So 1 copy of him. So that's the 18 warrior count. And as usual, I'm going to go over some combos at the end of the video. Now to the legendary items. We're running 14 of those. 3 copies of Sage's Blessing. Super good draw engine. Orbit. I can orbit 2 from my dead zone to draw a card, or orbit 4 from my dead zone to draw 2. Those are the 2 effects I usually use in this deck. 2 copies of Draconian Cave. This is my arena. During play phase, you may orbit 3 cards in your dead zone, draw a card. So we're getting cards to our hand. 2 copies of Tsukaiza Dancing Flames. If an element fire type card you control will be destroyed, you may destroy this card instead. You may orbit this card from the dead zone, and all warriors with burn take 2 damage. Perfect for this deck. 1 copy of Tsukaiza Forever Flames. When the element fire type card is normal call, target a non-element fire or element lava type card and it receives burn. I could run more in the deck, but that's not the. I'm not running a burn like a strictly burn version because I have those high attackers. It's just an annoying card that my opponent's going to have to get rid of, and adds more nuisance. So they got worried about burn damage and my high damage attacks. One copy of Fire Frag, running Fire Element dragons, +1 damage on the attack, and I can charge an additional time that turn, which we'll get into. That's super crazy. Warder of Chizan, 2 copies of this. You can pull some insane combos with this card. I will show you guys later on the video. But Warder of Chizan is a really good card. You sacrifice a warrior with 5 or more life you control, and it makes the zoning on 1 full charge. So whether it's decay, kill, or KO, you get 1 full charge. Really good card. Lightning strikes twice sometimes. 1 copy of that. The Carbon Sarcophagus, copy of that, and Treasure, 1 copy. That's it for the legendary items. Now let's get into the defense cards. Very small package. We're running 8 defense cards, 4 ninja rolls, 4 caliber counters. Let's go to responsive. 8 responsive cards. We're running 3 copies of the Kushikami Mask. Very, very versatile card, and in this deck it goes bonkers. I will show you guys later on in the video. 2 copies of Sage's Bind. You may cast off an element type card to negate the activation of the card depending on the card type. We're running Fire and Earth, so I can negate a warrior or a responsive card. 2 of these in deck, because we do cast off a lot with our other warrior effects. So that's another reason why we're drawing a lot in this deck, is because we do discard cards. Haki Dispel, 1 copy. 1 copy of Calling the Dead Zone, and 1 copy of Sage's Seal. I did want to add more copies of it because it is kind of the win con of the deck, but cast offing 2 for something that can get blown up. This is a horrible setup. It's not worth the setup in my opinion. So 1 copy, if it happens, it happens. On Enchanted Armament, 2 copies of this. And that's it for the deck profile. Now let's get into the combos, kings and queens. So, in this deck, I would suggest starting with Wyvern Sage in hand. Just going first. Specifically, definitely want to go first always in this deck, unless you're running the burn variant, which isn't this variant. So you always want to go first. So you can do your Wyvern Sage, add to hand, cast off 2, and then e-call your 2 Wyvern Sages from deck. And what you want to do is try to get your Cave Wyvern in the dead zone as soon as possible. You need him in the dead zone for your big plays. He also protects your Draconians. But here's some super sick plays you can do. So I will do 1 in the K, 1 kill. Then what you do is you go to activate Warder of Chizan. So this is if your Cave Wyvern's in the dead zone. Activate Warder of Chizan. Target your Sage's Wyvern. Activates your Cave Wyvern from the dead zone. You call him to the KO, and then you change the target to him. Then you blow this up with Warder of Chizan, and you get a full charge in the KO. When you have a full charge in the KO, what it does, it gives you +2 damage when you attack, and an additional 1 life. So you're already attacking with massive damage. These attack for 4 each. So eventually, when your boss warrior comes out, whether that's Tania or Saber's Wyvern number 3, they'll be swinging for +2 damage and have extra life. Some other good combos are OTK combo would be, you get pretty much any warrior that you can attack, and then having this set and activated, having this set and activated, and then activating this and equip it to your Saber's Wyvern number 3. While Mass is equipped to a warrior, it must attack all warriors your opponent controls and -3 life during end phase. So that extra one life will help you a lot. It will make him last an extra turn. But more importantly, he can attack since if he attacks, he can't attack the following turn. So with this mask being on him, it allows him to attack three times per turn for that 8 damage. Maximizes his damage output because he can't attack next turn. And then with Sage's Seal out, they can't use cards from hand to defend. So you can attack all 3 of your guys, your opponent's warriors, for free almost. So that'd be 8, 16, 24 damage total minimum you can output with this 3-card combo. Will be Mask, Sage's Seal, and Sage's Wyvern, number 3. I mean, that's kind of overkill. You can even do it with the other Wyverns, of course, whatever the combo setup is more convenient for you. But if you want to go for the big bang, I suggest go with him or Tonia. Tonia will be better simply because of his effect. When this warrior attacks, cards cannot be activated in Legend Zone at the end phase. So you'll have, which is funny, he's a Keshkami, so this is their mask. When he has this mask on him, let me move the mask up so you can see it. He can attack, every warrior opponent controls. Sages still make it so they can't use cards from hand. When he attacks, they can't activate cards in Legend Zone. So your opponent literally can't do nothing while you're attacking all 3 of their warriors for a minimum of 5 damage each. And the block can't be Kaishu or evaded as well. So if they even had Mings to try to evade it, they can't evade it because of its effect. This is not a combo, but it's kind of a form of advice. So running this enchanted armament makes your warrior unaffected by responsive cards and legendary item cards. So cards like Divine Hatred, Divine Backlash, and stuff like that, which you can definitely add to the deck. I just don't have any room for it. Those cards will protect. Well, that card, Enchanted Armor, will have you protected from those cards, destructive cards, which is very important. You can even use it to unequip your mask from your warrior. You can use it so they're unaffected by Sage's Seal. It's a really, really good card. I would try to run 4 if possible, but I can only fit 2 in the deck. So to sum it up, these are your searchers. He E-costs from deck, but you got to discard 2 cards. She searches a fire card from the deck, but then she destroys herself, so you lose field presence when you play her, but you get a search. So you want to set up and make sure you have a calibrated counter or something in hand if she's the only warrior you have on the field. Or you can use Sahai Dancing Flames. It's a good substitute. Not substitute, but what it does is, instead of she's a fire card, so destroying herself, you can just destroy Dancing Flames. You can also use Dancing Flames to say if your opponent destroys your warrior by clash, you can destroy this card instead to save your warrior. Or when you go to use your Widow of Chizan, destroy your fire element, save its wherever number 1 or 2 or 3, whatever the case may be. You can destroy your Dancing Flames to still meet the requirements of your Widow of Chizan. Really good card. 2 copies of it because very limited deck space. I don't even have Divine Hatred in here, but I think the deck will still be very successful. Very aggro. We're drawing a lot, dealing out high damage, protecting our warriors with Cave Dragon, Cave Wyvern, my bad, and but also what you can do with this mask is you can arm this to your opponent. So if you got the set, so you get a set 2 turns previously, when it's your turn again, you can arm this to your opponent's warrior, or equip it, sorry, and they will they can attack all your warriors. They have to attack all your warriors, but they take 3 damage during your end phase. And then when they go to attack, you can just calibrate counter them at the end of turn, and then start basically doing burn damage to your opponent with this mask. So it's very, very versatile. but I'm mainly using in this build to maximize my damage output with my dragon, since they can't attack the following turn if they attack. And that's it for my Draconian deck profile. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tassu love, everyone. Have a wonderful day.